Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Spiritual Remedy. My name is Sunshine Day, and it is a joy, and I am overjoyed to greet you on this day. Today is what, like the last Monday in June, and here we are embarking upon summer. I want to know what your summertime plans are, where you plan to be, what you plan to do. Definitely want to know like what's up in your life. So please, please, please let me know what's going on for you, where you are, what's happening, and let me know what's exciting and new in your life. So, what do I want to talk about today? Let me just stop and pause and yeah. So here's what's up, Lisa. What's up, Lisa E? So glad to have you hanging out with me this morning. Here's what I want to talk about. I just checked in with myself, and here's what I want to talk about this morning, especially because we are, in the first day of summer, not the first day of summer, the first week of summer. It is getting longer days in the daylight. So hello to you, Lisa. Hello to my producers, Vida Spiritual Learning Center. And hello to you, Alina E. What's up? So glad that you're hanging out today. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the how do I put it? I want to talk about having a good time during the summer. So, what's up, Palma? What's up, Lopez? What's up, Michelle? Oh my gosh, everybody's hanging out today. So good to have you with us. The summertime is usually a time, I remember my childhood summers being off from school. And sometimes I wish that we could return to those days, right? To where like we're in school for all these months and then, come the end of June, July, August, and we don't have any responsibilities for school, and we can just like go to the beach or go on vacation or just hang out with the friends on the block in the neighborhood, and do fun things. And so what's interesting for me is that coming up in adulthood and having work, right? Uh, and working and then not having summers off, I know that I was resentful. I was resentful at not being able to go to work. I mean, not being able to take the summertime off and have 2 months off, and to be able to just do what I want to do. But it's also interesting for people maybe in recovery and those of us who are really leaning towards um, living our best life, that sometimes the summertime was really about like getting loaded or getting involved in some shenanigans and doing things that were not necessarily for our highest and best. Even for some of us is like, binging on the beach and just kind of like really being out there in excess. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how sometimes the external circumstances put us, how we allow those external circumstances to sometimes put us in a position. Hey, Sunny Day, Jason, I see you too. Um, so glad to have you also on the show with me. That sometimes these external circumstances and conditions kind of act maybe as a trigger, or now that people are clean and sober, now that people are living a different way of life, now that people are abstaining from this thing or that thing, or really looking to live their best life, that instead, that sometimes the summertime is like, okay, that's the break, that's break time, I could do whatever I want to. And I want to encourage us to really take a look and give new meaning to what it means to be alive the summer of 2023. Like, we've never been alive the summer of 2023. We have this opportunity to co-create our lives in such a unique and divine way that, unless we're consciously aware that this is what we can do, and that we, along with our higher power, with infinite spirit and intelligence, co-create our summers, co-create our experience, that sometimes when we live by default or reminiscing about the past, or even being resentful that we don't have the summers off like we used to when we were kids hanging out in school, that we now have this opportunity. And so I'm wondering, from those of you that are hanging out with me today, what is your intention for the summer? What is your intention for living your best life this summer? And I have some ideas. I wanna hear from many of you. What the plan is, because unless we have a plan, or at least an intention, many of us have the tendency to simply allow ourselves to be taken by the current. I'll share this with you. A couple of summers ago, I was hanging out on the beach in Huntington Beach, Surf City, USA. Hey, what's up, Nancy? Surf City, USA. And I was in the water with a friend. We were just kind of hanging out. And then all of a sudden, all these junior lifeguards start coming out. And I was just taken aback by all these young people, and they're just swimming out past me. And, and I'm like, wow, there's like almost 100 of them. It was like, I was just so overjoyed to see all these young people swimming. And then, as it dawned on me, I was so overtaken by the joy that this is like, I had been taken out to kind of a deeper end, and that there was this current that had taken us out quite a bit. But mind you, these young people, they was way out further than me. And once they passed me, I was like, oh, snap. I couldn't feel my feet on the bottom of the ocean floor. So it was like, oh, okay, I'm out here pretty deep. And I start trying to, swim my way in. And I'm recognizing that as I'm trying to swim in, I'm actually not going in. I'm not making any any distance. And what ends up happening is I recognize that I had been pulled out by a current. And I said to my friend, I need help. She goes, what's up? I go, I need help getting back to shore. And she was like, okay, give me your hand. And so she, I give her my hand, and, we're just kind of like allowing the waves, and we're just kind of floating out there, and we're holding hands. And sure enough, here comes another like junior lifeguard. He's a little bit older. At any rate, I said to him, hey, I need some help. He goes, what do you need? I said, I need help getting to shore. So he goes, okay, give me your hand. So I give him my hand. And now, he's like, okay, just keep kicking your feet. And, here comes a wave. You can go under it, or you can do whatever. And then, sure enough, here comes the big lifeguard with one of those little buoys. And he says, give me your hand. And I thought to myself, wow, like 3 times I was offered help. It was like, give me your hand. I was offered the guidance and the support that was necessary. He said, put your hands on this thing right here and just kick your feet. And he had it around his waist, and he towed me in. Now, here's the thing about that story. And that thing about that story was, I trusted life, that I wasn't going to like die or drown out there. Right. Like, but I asked for help. And in asking for help, that's kind of what we get to do this summer, is really look at the ways that we can ask for help, the ways that we can say, hey, you know what, I might not be too sure here. I want to ask for help. And so asking for help with what you want to accomplish this summer is in fact important, and trusting spirit that when we ask for help, Life comes together to help us in ways that we could not even imagine possible. Like here were three people who just absolutely helped me. And I'm alive to tell the story today, and it's that story of trust. So okay, so let's hear what y'all have in store today. So Michelle says, my goal is to finally start in my career that I have a passion for. I've been on a summer break for a few months now due to unemployment, and I've been making the most of my time. I'm ready to get back to life with purpose. Absolutely. And I love that you're saying that, because sometimes when we're like during COVID was almost like that whole summer break for us, right? Let's see, Jason, what are you saying here? My plan for this summer is to do something good and get a heck of a lot of hours from my job, but at the same time taking on more than I could, but at some point is pushing aside of what I get to do. Jason, what I love about what you're talking about is, yeah, making the most out of getting some hours, getting paid, but also taking time for self. Like, what is it? What does that time and balance, look like for you, right? uh, uh, Michelle, she says, I've been trusting God's plan, and it's been such a relief. I give it all up. Absolutely. Right? So the idea is that there's a power and a presence in a life. Many of us call it higher power. Many of us call it spirit, infinite intelligence. I like to call it life. LIFE. Love is for everyone. Life is for everyone. Loving is for everyone. Lifting up life, capital LIFE, this power, this infinite intelligence that has created everything out of itself. I like to have this idea that, and it's not only an idea, but it is indeed a belief and a philosophy and a way of living that gives me the opportunity to trust that there's an infinite intelligence, that I can use this infinite intelligence, and that I can use infinite possibility, that I can use abundance and joy and peace and prosperity and health and wholeness and wisdom, that I could use this absolute power, the absolute I am, that I could use spirit, God, life for my good. Now, I'm not talking about misuse or abuse, because those are different, right? I'm talking about that there is a power in the universe that I can use for my good and for the good of humanity. And so when I set my intentions for this summer, like, what would I like to accomplish? What do I want to experience? What things are important to me, that these things, that I can actually use this infinite intelligence, this power and presence, to accomplish that by aligning my consciousness with it. Because my belief and my knowing is that life itself is always seeking to express itself and express itself fully. So when I allow it, and when I align my consciousness with it, right, that I am able to then fully express and experience what's for my highest and best, because that is just the nature of life itself. It's the nature of life itself. And when I surrender, like surrender to win, when I surrender to this power and presence, everything seems to align itself for my highest and best. And that which is not for my highest and best seems to move out of the way. Nancy says, my plan is to get to class on time. So I now specifically what we're talking, so I know specifically what we're talking about. Oh, okay. So you're talking about this class, like, getting to things on time, or asking like, hey, what's the topic for today? Like, I totally get it. Debbie Trojan, what's up, beloved? I'm so glad that you're with us here. And Laura Stewart, So glad that you're with us. My summer includes allowing Spirit to sing through me in radiant ecstasy as I live in joy and play. Yes, Laura, absolutely. Now, here's the thing that I also want to point out, and that is that the moment here's a something really quick and very, very powerful, that when you actually take this on for yourself, you will find that life becomes easier for you. Okay, when you start to actually accept, believe, and then know that spirit, that life, that higher power is not separate from you, that's when your life begins to explosively become more than what you've ever dreamed of. Okay. Boom. Boom. When you begin to accept, believe, and then know that life, that spirit, that higher power is not separate from you, that is when you begin to live your most powerful life. Here's the deal. See, so often we've been taught that spirit, that life, that God, that higher power is out there, somewhere in the sky, unreachable. I remember being a kid and being on an airplane and looking for God out the window while I was in the airplane. Like, where is God? And the truth is that God is everywhere present. Everywhere present. That means that right within me, spirit is. And when I not only accept that spirit, that this power and this presence is right where I am no longer powerless. So here's the thing. It says that, in a lot of 12-step programs, we're taught that we're powerless over alcohol, that we're powerless over people, powerless over places, powerless over things. Yes, me, of my own flesh and blood self, my little self, I am powerless. That's why we're taught that a higher power is necessary, right? Because with spirit, with life, with God, with higher power, all things are possible. And to the degree in which I recognize that deep down within me is that idea, is that spirit, is that life force. What separates me from a corpse is life. Life is higher powered. Life is spirit. Uh-oh, I'm just getting started and it's almost over. Right? Like, so that's exactly what I'm talking about right here is that to the degree in which I accept, believe, and then know that my life is a life of spirit, it is then when I live my most powerful life. It is then when I don't have to go to the mountaintop or go to the deep, deep bottom of the deep blue sea to find higher power, that it is right here. And that in this consciousness, as I accept it, as I believe it, and then as I know it, that my life is spirit, my life is the life of God, that my life is the unique, unrepeatable, magnificent, powerful way that spirit shows up in human form. Then when I align myself, my consciousness with that of life that is seeking to express itself, seeking to be, seeking to live powerfully and beautifully and magnificently and abundantly and wholly, meaning WHOL, like holy, being whole, perfect, and complete. It is then when I recognize that everything is coming together for my good, when I surrender to that, when I align myself to that, and then go, here's where I'd like to do, here's what I'd like to be, here's how I'd like to show up. And so if you want more of this, if you want to learn how to do this more and more and more, that's what the Vida Spiritual Learning Center is about. It's about putting on classes and courses and circles and groups so that together we come as a learning community, as a spiritual learning community, to learn how to utilize spirit, this power and presence that is within us. So we're no longer powerless over our own life. Yeah, chemicals, substances, all of that stuff, once it's in our bodies, it's going to do what it does. That's a given. And once we recognize that spirit, capital S, not spirits like alcohol, but spirit and source and substance is in us, right where we are, we can begin to use it for our highest and our best. And I would love to show you and teach you how to use it for your highest and best to fulfill the dreams, not only for your summers, but for your life. So our time is up, beloveds. I love you so, so much. I love you so, so much. And I'm so glad we get to spend this time together. I'll be back here next Monday. Remember to text me your gratitudes at 562-928-6460. If you're interested in putting together a circle, a group, something that's going to help you and maybe the people that you're around to have a better understanding of spirit and source in, through, and as our lives, also just go ahead and text me at that same number so we can get it started. Know that you are loved. Thank you, Vida Spiritual Learning Center, for producing my show today. And until next week, know that you are loved. Bye for now.